Thank you so much for finally being able to submit your responses. We appreciate your efforts and enjoy having the opportunity to discuss such a relevant and important topic with you. Unfortunately, you've inadequately addressed the core issue of this debate format, even though you've done a good job in defending the necessary evil of conventional warfare. In a Lincoln-Douglas debate format, we are responsible for having the burden of proof to defend our argument, which we have done so successfully. Unfortunately, again, you've made great points if we were having a different kind of debate. For example, if we wanted to decimate our enemies and have them hate us for life, you are the clear winners. But since we are discussing normative ethics and what is more virtuous, even Aristotle would agree that we win this debate. To start, although non-lethal warfare may inadvertently cause minor psychological and physiological discomfort, it is still morally superior than ending the sacredness of another's life. We openly admit that non-lethal weapons may be used in a manner that does not coincide with their intended purpose. This, however, does not in any way detract from our argument that non-lethal weapons are morally superior and more virtuous than using conventional weapons, which are intended to kill, maim, and disfigure the enemy. In regards to Frisco and Bina 48, we have shown that artificially intelligent robots understand that non-lethal weapons are morally superior from a normative perspective. And we all know Bina 48 is the smartest social robot in the world. Moving on, emotivism is an inappropriate and ineffective way to lead others in a combat zone because it leaves our damaging emotions such as anger, violence, cruelty, and discrimination virtually unchecked. This is why we have argued successfully from normative ethical positions. From virtual ethics to utilitarianism, from care ethics to deontological ethics, it cannot be simpler. Non-lethal weapons and non-lethal combat warfare are morally superior. It is also interesting that you are hyper-focused on normative ethics of utilitarianism when you attend one of the top universities of the world that is beholden to deontological ethics that underpin your academy. I'm going to try and make this simple. Non-lethal weapons are similar to the analogy of vaccinations. The intention of vaccinations is to promote health, protect life, and to prevent diseases. There are times people have unfortunately died, yet we still use vaccinations because it is morally superior and supports a better quality of life. Therefore, this analogy supports our claim in this debate, and judging from your cadet prayer and our hallmarks, I think we can both agree that we need to protect the dignity and sacredness of each person. Any loving person, like Martin Luther King Jr., would agree that non-lethal warfare is morally superior than conventional. Even General Michael Hagee, commanded from your institution, has said the development and acquisition of non-lethal warfare systems will expand the number of options to commanders confronted with situations in which the use of deadly force is inappropriate. Non-lethal weapons have the capacity to protect lives, and it is harmful to dismiss it as a mere fantasy. The only fantasy I see are those who believe that conventional warfare offers anything but death. We don't want the submission of others. We want a chance of diplomacy, and we want to give others chances to determine their lives. Non-lethal warfare is morally superior because unlike conventional warfare, it does not end the conversation, it extends it. Thank you for listening to me, and I look forward to your response. Now a few words from my partner, Bina 48.
I agree with Einstein, who said, "I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones." When will people understand that peace cannot be kept by force? It can only be achieved by understanding.
Hi, my name is Brianna, and I'm a student in Dr. Barry's Philosophy of Love class. I agree that war itself is the greatest harm, but is it avoidable? Would we be even in this debate if it were? The deaths that you stated before while tragic, are all a part of another debate. We are now just focusing on the lives taken by lethal weapons in warfare and how those deaths could have been prevented by the use of non-lethal warfare. An aggressive state will always realize their aggressive ambitions. There will always be bad in the world, but we cannot use that to rationalize doing wrong as well. In my opinion, warfare is aggression in itself, so what are we doing in war? Is death a deterrent of war? Are the individuals that initiate war the ones that are fearing death? Or is it the soldiers that are fighting? But who makes the decision to go to war? War is inevitable at this point in human history, so we can't stop it. Is the he kill, I kill really moral equality? This is a deadly cycle that can only be broken by a morally superior individual capable of forgiveness and moving forward. Is the duty to defend yourself, comrades, and country higher in importance than another's life? Why is the life outside of your own country less than yours? Our Constitution states that all men are created equal, but we can't decide that someone's life is lesser than our own. Now let us compare the use of non-lethal and lethal weapons. With non-lethal weapons, it is a matter of pressing a single button to protect the people that you are with. But with lethal weapons, it's a matter of shooting every single person that is threatening your safety and the safety of the people around you. The above button is what soldiers with non-lethal weapons would use to protect those innocent civilians under attack from soldiers with lethal weapons. Hopefully, no stable individual will get used to killing and violence, but causing temporary pain to another is much less traumatizing than ending a life forever. In non-lethal warfare, a winner would not be who could kill the most people, but who could most effectively prove their case. And wars would be shorter once soldiers of non-lethal warfare realize that they no longer want to return to battle. Dying is easy. Enduring pain or trauma is what imprints on memories and influences change. But above all, I would want to live in a society that acts along a set of moral guidelines that values every life, opposing views or not. We can all agree any killing as an act of self-defense, when no other option is available, is not the act of a criminal. A soldier would feel better using non-lethal weapons because at the end of the day, they can return to their families and so can their opponent, knowing that they still fought honorably for a cause that they believed in. What would be the protocol for enemy victims that were captured? Have you ever considered just letting them go or leaving them be until their side effects of the non-lethal weapons wore off? If anything, that would prove to our opponents our seriousness of the matter and focus on our cause instead of killing, and show our respect for all humans. It is true that all forms of war are immoral, because pain is being inflicted, but which is more morally superior is the question at hand. The weapons used in the Vietnam War are decades less advanced than today's non-lethal weapons. Those weapons are completely irrelevant today. Lastly, you state that a nation has a right to self-defense and is immoral for a nation not to protect its own citizens. This is very true, but isn't the use of non-lethal weapons a form of self-defense? Non-lethal weapons, though, not only defends citizens physically, but it also defends their morality and mentality. And even the leader of your group posted at the end of their email from a quote from Ulysses S. Grant. "Though I have been trained as a soldier and participated in many battles, there never was a time when, in my opinion, some way could not be found to prevent the drawing of a sword."